Hey Internet, Eric here. I haven't done one of these since I think the last time I did one of these was New Year's Eve, where I had that dumb ass decision to get drunk on some whiskey. And what did I do? I got drunk on whiskey, New Year's Eve, and I tried those what do you call it? Bean boozles, those stupid weird little mystery jelly beans where it's either hey, Jay Wilkins is here. Uh, I'm gonna check out your Ghostbusters reboot video. I can't wait to see what you think about that, especially with the title you gave it. Um, yeah, it's been like 2 months since I did one of these. I'm finally not sick anymore. This whole household has been nothing but flu and bronchitis and all that fun stuff. So I'm finally healthy. Um, I finished watching Village of the Damned. Probably can't see it. Um, the John Carpenter film, and I was watching the bonus features, and I got tired of watching the bonus features, and I'm like, I got videos to do because I got to do a horror tag that I'm gonna tag you in, Jay Wilkins. I gotta do that. I gotta review Jason X, which I don't want to watch and review, and I gotta wait for my wife for the new Nightmare review because she's with me when we're watching all these Nightmare on Elm Street films. So I figured that why not go live? It gives me something to do. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know how long this is going to last because I'm doing this off my phone. I've seen Jason X. Yeah, I've seen it too. And spoilers is probably not going to be the most flattering review. Um, oh, there's so much about that movie that I like, but there's just so much of that movie that just freaking annoys me, man. I like how it's basically spoilers. I like how it's basically aliens. It's aliens, and instead of the alien, you have Jason Voorhees. But the problem is the characters are just so damn stupid, and they give them the worst and cheesiest dialogue known to man. And I hate all the characters, and I don't care that it's in space. I People hate Hellraiser Bloodlines. That's in space. I like that. Um, Leprechaun 4. I reviewed that months ago to see if it was really worth the hate, and I had a fun time with Leprechaun 4. So with it being in space, I don't care. The problem with Jason X is it this the dialogue. The dialogue is horrible. I don't know who wrote it, but hopefully they didn't pay him a lot because it's just god awful. But yeah, I've been watching a lot. Well, we just started season 2 of Stranger Things. I had to rewatch season 1. I didn't remember a lot of it because I think all the hype and all the talk and everyone saying how this is fantastic and it's great to remember the 80s and this and that. I get tired of listening to it, so I lost interest. I quit watching it. My wife, she would watch it and I'd just be in the background playing on my phone or reading or something like that. And I rewatched season one, and I'm glad I did because Stranger Things was a whole lot of fun. It wasn't just 80s nostalgia for the sake of 80s nostalgia. I really liked the kid actors. They were really good. They had a great chemistry. Um, I haven't seen Winona Ryder in a lot of things. Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice. Off the top of my head, I don't remember much of Heather's at all. Um, my wife and I, we've watched Mermaids maybe once, so I don't know a lot of Winona Ryder acting wise. She was great in it, man. Jay Wilkins definitely give it a second shot. She was really, really good. Great performance of this worried mother with her son. He's missing. Very, very good performance. Everybody's good. Likable performances. Matthew Modine was in it. He was really good as the villain or villain. He works for the government, so think however you want. Didn't recognize him at all. I mean, what Full Metal Jacket was in the 80s, and he had a shaved head, but man, did not recognize him at all with the big, poofy white hair. He was good too, so highly recommend at least season 1 of Stranger Things. We just finished episode 3 of season 2. Kids are still great. The kid that was missing in season 1, he obviously is in this more, and he's good too. So they were very lucky considering that he was hardly in season 1 and he has to be in season 2, and he's doing a damn good job. So highly recommend Stranger Things. I'm also going back and forth on the original Twilight Zone series. I think I'm in. I don't know how many seasons there are really, but on Netflix, I think it goes up to 4. I know I'm sure there's more seasons than that because Netflix is weird with the way they do their seasons. I think it said season 1 was like 30 episodes. I'm really digging that too. And not just the well known ones like the one with Burgess Meredith as the guy who likes to read and then he breaks his glasses at the end, or the one I just watched, the one where the lady's getting plastic surgery and she thinks she's horrible and ugly and they take off the bandages and she's beautiful and you see everybody else on the planet is these ugly pig monsters. Um, those are the ones that I remember the most. But I just watched what was the one I watched? I feel there's way too much to watch. Do you ever feel that way? Yes, I do feel that way because the problem is I have so many shows that I watch that I really enjoy, and then I get dragged into another show like Stranger Things. I want to catch up on Gotham, which is a great show, but I got pulled into Stranger Things, and then we got to catch up on Sleepy Hollow, which is another fun show. The X Files. What else were we watching? Well, we quit watching The Walking Dead, so that frees up a bunch. But yeah, Gotham was really good. I want to check that out. But one of the episodes of the Twilight Zone that I just watched that was really really good. It was the one where these it's obviously in the future. Hey, horror gamer, I'm doing good. I'm a lot better now. Talking about how I'm watching and Sasha's here too. Talking about the old classic Twilight Zone. How I just watched the episode where it's in the future, obviously, and these guys crash land on what they think is Earth, and obviously no one can move, and they find out twist ending. The show was in the '60s, so if I spoil it, I spoil it. Don't fucking care. Um, they meet this weird butler, and they find out that everybody on this planet is really dead, and they're just superimposed in these weird, how they wanted to live the rest of their lives. And they were asked, how would you want to live the rest of your life? And they were saying, we want to live it on our spaceship on our way home. So the guy poisons them and he puts them back in their positions, like they're in the spaceship on their way home. I watched another one that was really good. It actually had William Shatner in it, and him and his wife are stuck in this diner, and it's one of those stupid, shitty fortune-telling machines where you put the coin, the penny in there, and you pull the lever, and this little devil head uh, tells your fortune, and it's basically, the whole episode is William Shatner being obsessed on when he's going to be able to escape this town, and they finally escape, and then you find out there's this other couple that's been there for probably like 10, 15 years. So, great show. I'm really digging the old classic Twilight Zones. I remember it being brought back in the 80s, and they had like a lot of famous directors directed them. Like Wes Craven did an episode. I think John Carpenter might have. Joe Dante did. And I remember them not being very well received, probably because it was just a lot of original Twilight Zone fanatics, how much they love the original Twilight Zone, and then they're like, oh, this is they're remaking the series, and it's just crap. And I've said it many times when it comes to like things being remade, people just don't give them a chance. Just because it's a remake doesn't mean it's gonna be shit. There's so many remakes that I personally think are better than the original, And it's fun because I've gotten to the point where I hate discussing horror with the majority of, I guess, people out there in social media land, because they like to talk a lot of shit. It's their way or the highway, because, I one of my friends was having problems with social media. And because it was nothing but drama, which is what social media fucking is. Social media is always drama. And I said it's like this. This is social media. You ever watch Reservoir Dogs? And it's the scene where all the robbers are in the room, and they're with ugly ass Lawrence Tierney, and Lawrence is looking at Steve Buscemi and Harvey Keitel and Michael Madsen and all those guys, and he's giving out everybody's name, and he said, "You're Mr. Blonde, you're Mr. White, you're Mr. Pink, you're Mr. Brown," and all that stuff. And Steve Buscemi says, "Why am I Mr. Pink?" And because you're a faggot, that's why. And then Quentin's like, "Well, why am I Mr. Brown?" It's like Mr. Shit. And Steve says something to the effect, "Well, why can't we pick our own names?" And Tierney says, "Because everyone wants to be Mr. Black. And since nobody knows each other, nobody's going to back down." And that's exactly how social media is. This is how I told my friend. She was having a hard time. That's how you got to realize social media is. It's a bunch of people who don't know each other. Okay? You don't know each other behind this keyboard, behind this screen or whatever. So you're going to talk a lot of shit, and you're not going to back down from anybody, because you're never going to meet these people, So why would I back down? Like, if Jay Wilkins or JVTV's here, if one of those guys is talking shit to me or I'm talking shit to them, 99% I'm not going to meet these guys. So why would I back down? We're not face to face. You can't be intimidated through a keyboard. You can't be intimidated through a YouTube video like this. So why would I back down? I said, that's how you got to realize how it is. People get, their nuts grow 3 or 4 sizes bigger than they normally are, because they have, like I said, nothing to hide. But what was I saying? Oh, back to remakes and the horror fans on social media. People just shit on remakes no matter what. You know how many good remakes there really are? Hills Have Eyes, better than the original. People love to give me shit for this. Black Christmas. I really enjoy the remake of Black Christmas. I have fun with it. It's a cheesy slasher film. It's dumb characters being stalked in a house by a psychotic killer. But it's entertaining. It's so over the top. I didn't like the original Black Christmas. I thought the original Black Christmas was boring as hell. I didn't like any of the characters except for Margot Kidder, because she was the foul-mouthed drunk. And it was just boring as hell. First time I saw Black Christmas was within the last 4 years. Maybe it was because it was overhyped. I didn't like it. I thought it was a waste of time, and I kept looking. I was watching my Can I be honest? I like the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre more than you probably mean you like the remake better than the original of Texas. Yeah, so do I. So do I. I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I get so much shit. Well, like I said with Black Christmas, because people put Black Christmas on such a high pedestal. When I finally watched it, I'm just like, when's it going to be over? But I really, really like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But there is so much of that film that I just think, like the last half hour, the whole with Marilyn Burns when she's tied to the chair, as insane as that scene is, all it is just nonstop screaming and moaning, and I don't like the close-ups of her eyes and the close-up of her mouth. It's just too much for me. It gets old. It got annoying. It was a great movie, but I think it's a little overhyped. Now, What I like about the remake, Leatherface is scary. I like these characters. Arlie Ermy is fucking fantastic, especially when you find out that a lot of Arlie Ermey's lines in the remake were ad libbed. Um, I love Marcus Nispel, the director, the way he shoots it, and the tone, the color tones that he uses is great. That fucking shot when the hitchhiker, after she fucking pulls a gun out of her out of her vagina, and she sticks the gun in her mouth and she blows the back of her head off, and you got the camera focused on the people screaming, and you think it's just a shot, a regular shot of them screaming, and then the camera's panning back and it goes out the fucking hole in the girl's head. Fantastic shot. And this guy is coming from music videos, so he knows how to work the camera, because I know he directed I think he directed like Guns N' Roses before, and I think he's directed, say we will, Britney Spears videos, so he's been behind the camera many times. And he directed the Friday the 13th remake as well, which overall I really enjoyed. Characters fucking suck, but it was entertaining, and it had a great Jason in it. I loved fuck is his name? Derek Mears. Derek Mears is a great Jason. I love Derek Mears, and every time I see him, first off, horror gamer, I know you do Twitter a lot. Search Derek Mears' Twitter. I think he's also a stand-up comic, and just his Twitter gets me laughing all the time. But he was a great Jason. I liked him. He always has to play a character that's under a lot of makeup. Jason Voorhees, he was in The Hills Have Eyes 2. He was the character, I think, called the Chameleon, where I think he just had a bunch of boils all over his face. I know he was one of the pirate zombies in one of the Johnny Depp pirate movies. I think it was number 4 or 5. One of the later ones where they were fighting the zombies, whatever. He was in an episode of Sleepy Hollow as a golem monster. Derek Mears is great. I love him. And I loved how he's in Hatchet 3. Because, Kane Hodder plays Victor Crowley in the Hatchet series. So how cool is it that Jason, the most well-known Jason, I guess, Kane Hodder, is the villain in Hatchet, and one of the guys hired to stop Victor Crowley is Derek Mears, who was Jason in the remake, and they go head to head, and it doesn't end well for Derek Mears. I think he's the one that gets, he get punched in the stomach, and he gets like his spine and his skull just ripped right out like fucking Mortal Kombat. That was fun. Hatchet 3 is fun. I love I think my favorite scene, I mean, it's cool seeing, Caroline Williams from Chainsaw 2, and Zach Galligan from Gremlins is in it. But I think my favorite scene is the racist Sid Haig cameo. Every now and then I'm bored, and I'll go on YouTube and I'll just type in Sid Haig Hatchet 3, and I have a blast. I haven't seen part 4 yet. I want to see it. I've heard nothing but good, and I'm very excited. What was I saying? Derek Mears. Oh, anyways, yeah, I mentioned Jay Wilkins. I'm gonna tag you. Jay, if you're still watching, I'm gonna tag you as well. I got a horror movie tag. Jay Wilkins, I don't know if you're actually into horror so much. Jay, I know you are. And it's going to be a fun tag, and like discussing your favorite horror movie kills, favorite memories, this and that. Yeah. Speaking of the Hatchet films, no, I know what I was going to talk about. We were talking about Kane Hodder. Monster Mania happened last weekend. Monster Mania is this big convention. I think is it in the New Jersey area? I don't fucking know. But speaking of Kane Hodder, some fan, I think, walked into Kane Hodder's booth, and he had a machete, and he like Kane Hodder had the machete, and his assistant or Kane's assistant or Kane's friend was there, and Kane put the machete on the guy's arm, and the fan didn't tell Kane that it was a real machete. And because I guess real machetes are banned now, and so Kane thought it was a prop because, fans are retarded. They bring real weapons into, crowded areas like that, and they got to ruin it for everybody. So I guess Kane put the machete to the guy's arm, and it hurt. So the guy's arm jerked, and that machete cut straight through the guy's arm. Now, I guess there was no bone showing or nothing like that, but I guess there was blood all over the machete. They had to change the tablecloth. I've seen the pictures of the blood all over the tablecloth. Kane was gone for the rest of the day. I guess the guy was back the next day. He got stitched up, but that was like one of the main what did I read? How would I say this? Monster Mania, I heard, was just a big clusterfuck. It was this big convention. It didn't have enough room for everybody. People were complaining they were going outside, for smoke breaks or whatever, or just to breathe because it's so fucking congested in there with all the bodies. People weren't allowed back in, no matter if they had the passes, because they were over capacity. The lines were far too long, so nobody could get to the celebrities that they wanted to. And then, of course, Kane Hodder fucking cut somebody's arm with a machete. So out of all that stuff, that makes me really not want to ever go to like a horror movie convention, because I'm not good with crowds. I hate people. If you didn't know, I don't like dealing with crowds. I don't like dealing with all that. But just seeing those pictures of Monster Mania, and it looked like a concert was going on. Standing room only. No one was able to move, and it did not look like fun. You are amazing at knowing at who acts as all the great people in all these great movies. Thank you. It's one of my many useless talents. I don't know all my times tables. I couldn't tell you how to get from here to downtown by the names of the street signs, but I could tell you who played Jason in all 11 of the movies or something, but thank you. But yeah, I would always love to go to a convention, but just seeing how bad they have been, just picture wise lately, um, it makes it not fun, and I would not want to go out. So when I do get my autographs, I get them. I get the certificate of authenticity, but I order them. Like I have a couple of Gunnar Hansons. I do have a Kane Hodder one. I got a Bill Moseley one. So it's just a lot better. Like if you have like the social anxiety, like people say I'm so calm and collected, in a lot of my videos, but that's because, they don't realize that I've deleted, initially starting the video, I've deleted it like 3 or 4 times. And then doing like these live streams, I stutter so much because I don't know what to talk about. And then I go off on all these fucking tangents. Speaking of tangents, Bill Moseley, Devil's Rejects 2, or the sequel to Devil's Rejects, whatever it's called, has started filming. And Bill Moseley, of course, Sherry Moon Zombie's going to be in it. She's married to the director. And Sid Haig, all confirmed to be in it. And I'm torn. Devil's Rejects is it's in my top 5 movies of all time. I did a top 5 list of my favorite movies of all time. Number 1 is The Crow. 2 is Seven. 3 is Predator. 4 is Devil's Rejects. 5 is Sin City. Absolutely love Devil's Rejects. Love everything about that film. The look, the acting, the feel, the soundtrack, the gore, the uncomfortableness, it has. The way, it switches. Like, you're supposed to hate the Firefly family. and then you're supposed to be cheering for Sheriff Whitell as he's tracking down these murderers. And then by halfway through, it switches. The killers are the likable ones, and it's the sheriff who crosses the line and becomes the villain, or what have you. And for the three people watching this, if you haven't seen the end, or you haven't seen Devil's Rejects, it ends with like there's a roadblock. You know, they think they're going to get away. There's a roadblock. All the cops are there, and it ends in this great, fantastic Bonnie and Clyde like shooting spree, or Butch Sundance, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid type ending to Freebird from, played by Leonard Skinner. So it ends, and you see them all getting blown to hell. So you're assuming that they're dead. And it's just the perfect ending. The perfect ending, starting with House of a Thousand Corpses, going to Devil's Reject, is the perfect ending for this story of the psychotic family. And I knew there was rumors of Rob talking about doing a sequel to that, which I didn't want, because A, I love the film so much, and B, perfect ending, and C, how the fuck did they survive? Okay. He did confirm on like his Instagram and Twitter, and he's shown pictures from the set, like the director's chair, and he showed, I think just today, he's shown like a transport vehicle from the prison. So I'm hoping that he's just gonna go as lame as it is. I hope he's going to go the route that they somehow fucking survived being shot to hell, because I'm gonna be pissed if he goes it was all a dream route. Well, there's also rumors, because I think it's called Back from Hell or Back to Hell, like, the subtitle. I'm really going to be upset if there's like some supernaturalness to it, because what I really loved about the Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, was basically one 90-minute Rob Zombie music video, okay? It was very cartoony, so over the top, but it was still fun. I still fucking loved it. Devil's Rejects hit you in the face. It was so real and so gritty, and that's what I loved. That's why I love that movie more than I love House, because it's just so real. And if they throw in that supernatural effect that they're back from the dead somehow, I'm gonna fucking hate it. Or maybe they're in a coma and this is all going in their head. I don't know. My fingers are crossed. I'm not getting my hopes up, so my expectations aren't so fucking high when I get in there that I can be nothing but disappointed. So we'll see. It does make me want to watch House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects again, just to psych myself up. A lot of people with Rob Zombie and his movies, they either love or hate him. Me, overall, I love him. Love House of a Thousand Corpses. Love Devil's Rejects. Horror Gamer, if you're still watching, I think one of your best videos, one of your most entertaining videos I've seen on your channel so far, I'm slowly catching up to the older stuff, is your review of 31. You didn't like it as much as me, obviously, and that is totally fine, but just your description of what's going on in this film had me laughing my ass off. So if, I don't know, yeah, he's here. If anyone here other than Horror Gamer is interested in horror stuff, go to his channel. You can check out his comments here in the live chat. Go to his channel, give him a sub. He's gotten a lot more confident in front of the camera. I loved your review of 31. When you were discussing the scene with Death Head and Sex Head, and you said, how did you describe him? This big fucking German guy singing while wearing a fucking tutu or something like that. And it was just so, your delivery had me laughing. I had rewound that 3 or 4 times just to hear the way you said it. So give Horror Gamer a sub and check out his review of 31. I personally loved it. 31. is Halloween films, I think, get a bad rap. The first one, I think I enjoy the stuff in the asylum. Once Michael breaks out, it kind of is basically Halloween, and I've already seen it. And then Halloween 2, I love because, at least the director's cut. I hated my experience seeing it in a theater. The director's cut is a totally different movie. That's the one I have on DVD. And I enjoy that one so much. That one is so much better. The director's cut is so much better. Ending is different. They take out all of Laurie Strode's, except for one or two, her stupid psychotic dreams. I grow to enjoy that film more and more the more I watch it. What else has he done? Lords of Salem. I don't remember much of that. I watched it once. Loved Halloween remake. Good. I watched Lords of Salem once, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I remember Sherry Moon Zombie is like a heroin addicted DJ, and she gets this record that she plays on her radio station, and it causes these witches to kill people. And then she goes back on the drugs, and she has a hallucination where this like chicken baby tries to impregnate her with these gigantic tentacles, and then she ends up missing, and people are killing each other left and right. And we see Meg Foster naked, and it's not sexy Meg Foster from the 80s. It's current old saggy tits Meg Foster, and it just ruins everything. So I bought Lords of Salem off of Amazon for super fucking cheap. I'm going to give it another go. See if I can figure out what the fuck is going on and review it here on YouTube. I don't think I'm going to understand it a second time. Because I've also Wikipedia'd that shit. I've gone on, I've just Googled explain Lords of Salem for me. Doesn't make any sense. And I lost my stream. So I'm back. And what was I talking about? 31. 31 by Rob Zombie. I don't know if anybody's watching anymore because of that live stream fuck up. I'm going to get rid of this notification. Plug my phone back in. Anyways, I was talking about Lords of Salem. Don't know what the fuck was going on in that movie. Jesus Christ. Drug addicted, like I said, drug addicted Sherry Moon Zombie. Sherry Moon Zombie still can't act. She's gorgeous to look at. And we know that, Rob. You got a hot wife. She can't really act, dude. I'm sorry. But, I mean, I appreciate you putting her in your films because she's nice to look at, and 90% of the time she doesn't have that many clothes on. But you got to get a better actress. Don't put her as your lead. I'm not sure I'm back on. I don't know. Show all chat messages. Okay. I don't know what's going on. My phone is being fucking retarded. Let's see here. Anyways, fuck it. I could be talking to nobody. I don't know who's watching. I don't know if anybody's watching. Here's my finger in your face. Anyways, my phone's fucking retarded. Hate it. We're gonna get new phones this fucking weekend. Can't wait. Yeah. Not sure if I'm gonna enjoy Devil's Rejects 2 or whatever the fuck it's called. But I'm glad to be back on YouTube healthy. It was such a really fucking interesting month, 2 months. Fucking phone. Let's see here. Maybe if I move away and get closer to the Wi-Fi. I don't know. This phone's pissing me off. Been an interesting 2 months since I've been gone. Stupid fucking phone. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Alright. Yeah, especially on social media. There was one guy on Twitter. Here's the story. I think I follow somebody on Twitter called Sluts and Guts. Great title for a channel. And it's either he's posting hot chicks or he's posting, pictures from different horror movies. And he posted a picture of the original Pink Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson, and it was this gorgeous picture of her, wonderful picture of her, and there's no nudity, in these pictures, but yeah, it was a picture of Amy Jo Johnson. She was showing some skin, and it was very tasteful, and we were talking about her, and then we went on. What was it? I brought up how she's got a new web series coming out where she's playing this. I think it's called The Has Been. It looks funny. She plays this former child star who is now living on the convention circuit. So it's kind of, I guess, semi-autobiographical. And we were talking. It went from us praising how attractive she looked in this picture to us talking about, this new web series she's doing, how she's now living on, she's doing she's not living, but she's doing the convention circuits a lot and dealing with this nostalgia. And hold on, I don't know how I'm going to hold this. There we go. I'm not going to plug in my fucking phone anymore because every time I have it on the stupid fucking bookcase, I've lost the connection, I think 3 or 4 fucking times. I don't know. Anyways, again, we're talking about how hot Amy Jo Johnson is. We're talking about how her web series looks neat. And out of nowhere, this guy who used to follow me is one of the fucking... When I made those Corey Feldman videos, one of these people that liked my Feldman videos, so they decided to follow me and everything I said because for some reason they like what I have to say on Twitter. I don't post anything interesting on Twitter. I post stuff about wrestling and porn and horror movies. Whoop-de-doo. So he comes out of nowhere and he interrupts our conversation and calls us a bunch of homophobes. And I go off on him. I said, "Why? How the fuck do you think me and who's ever behind, Sluts and Guts or whatever the Twitter page is called? I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. How are we considered homophobes because we're praising the looks of Amy Jo Johnson?" And then he goes off on saying how, I guess the Blue Ranger was, he left Power Rangers because he was always called faggot and picked on because he was gay and this and that. And how is us praising how hot the female is making us a homophobe? And I asked him that. He says, "Well, you watch the show, so you're kind of supporting homophobic stuff." And I looked at him and I'm thinking to myself, this guy's a fucking moron. I haven't seen that fucking show in probably over 20, 25 years. And David Yost had just this whole thing about him coming out as gay and, talking about how he was picked on not by his co-stars. He was picked on by production assistants and writers and shit like that. Not by the co-star. So how is us praising the looks of a female co-star supporting homophobes? It's not. This guy was just a shit starter, and we kind of shut him down. We just called him a moron, and he unfollowed me. Boo fucking who. And it's been nice ever since because I go to his Twitter and it's a lot of sob stories. He's doing a lot of these. He retweets An Open Secret a lot, which is another one of those, pro Me Too, let's, post all this stupid shit on Twitter. I hate An Open Secret as well. A lot of anti-Trump stuff, which I don't give a shit about Trump. I don't care about Trump. I don't support him. I don't hate him. But it's like that's all their stuff is. Every single one of their posts is like that. I'm like, how bad of a life do you have when that's all you want to fucking talk about? Seriously, you have nothing better to say than just bash the president. And it's your right to hate him. Like I said, I don't really give a shit if you do hate him. But don't you have anything else to talk about? What did you do today? How are your kids? Did you have a shitty day at work? What was the last stupid ass fucking movie that you watched? But no, you gotta do is just bashing this guy left and right, and so he's just one of those people that likes to, seems like, either piss people off just for the sake of pissing people off. Like it's like these people that I work with. There's so many people at work that are not happy unless they're complaining about something. And they're complaining over the stupidest shit in the world. And I'm thinking to myself like this. They hate their job. Okay, fine. Everybody hates their job. Or everybody's frustrated with their job. And there was this one bitch, and she's always complaining about her job. And I looked at her, I said, well, then quit. Quit your fucking job. Well, I can't quit my job. Why not? You hate it? Go find something else. Well, there's nothing out there. Ah, then you should consider yourself lucky you have a job, right? Well, yeah. So how long you been at this job? Almost 10 years. When was the last time you could think, while this economy is still in the fucking toilet, okay? I mean, we were in the sewers. This economy was in the sewers, and we're finally crawling out of the sewers, but we're still in the toilet. We're like right down there at the bottom of the bowl. We haven't reached ourselves out and pulled ourselves out of the toilet like a little ghoulie or something. And when was the last time you could stay at your job for like 10 years, not have to worry about being laid off? You know how many people would kill to work at a shitty job that you're at right now because they have no job? And, I know some people that had to take early retirement because from their generation, all they did was grunt work. So they don't know computers, they don't know this, they don't know that. So all they know is like warehouse stuff, right? So they're only looking for warehouse jobs or assembly line jobs, or stockroom jobs or whatever. And what are they going to do? Their retirement age, who are you going to hire? You're going to hire somebody my age or younger because they can lift more. You can run them into the ground more than you can a man in his 60s. So he can't get a job. Consider yourself fucking lucky because this person I'm talking about would take your job in a fucking heartbeat. I mean, that's all this society has turned into, is nothing but fucking complainers and whiners and over the stupidest shit. I mean, I have a buddy of mine who's been in and out of the hospital this past year, and his medical bills are fucking insane. And, his life, he's had some really bad times over this past year, and his life is not so hot right now. But there you are just bitching about your job. People have it worse than you, man. Like these people who have kids. I'm a father, I have a child. But you got these people who, I have no social life anymore because, I can't go out because I have a child. Why the fuck you have a kid then? Did you think it was going to be easy having a kid? No. Don't be retarded. Being a parent, it's a wonderful thing. Being a parent is the best thing that ever happened to me. But I knew it wasn't going to be fucking easy. Why would you think it's going to be easy having a kid? And then you went and had another one. Are you fucking serious? And you're going to complain that you don't get enough sleep? Why did you have the second fucking kid? You didn't have it by accident. There is no way to accidentally get pregnant in 2018. I don't care how hot into the moment you are. You strap up or you get on the fucking pill or whatever it takes, to not have a kid. There ain't no way to accidentally get pregnant. It's your own fucking fault. Unless, it's against your will. It's your own fucking fault. So you get no sympathy from me for not having a social life anymore or not being able to sleep. Shouldn't have had the kid. You're old enough to know better. Speaking of, I guess I didn't watch it because I fucking hate MTV and I hate these fucking reality shows. I guess someone from my hometown was recently on 16 and Pregnant. Go. And that just makes me... As funny as that is, it reminds me of a story of... I used to work at a grocery store. And I was a bagger. I bagged the groceries. And then I moved into the bakery. And there was this girl. She was bagging the groceries. And I didn't know her. I knew her by name only. But from what a lot of the cashiers would say, she wasn't the smartest girl in the world. And I knew her name. And then one day, on my day off, I was, helping my mom. My mom, she's disabled. And I was giving her lunch, giving her medicine at that time. And my mom loves, like, the Maury Povich shit. You know, she watches Oprah and Jerry Springer. And she was watching Maury Povich this one day. And it was I think Maury's nothing basically but the Who's Your Baby Daddy shit. So she was watching Who's Your Baby Daddy, and I was looking at the TV, and I was thinking to myself, that girl looks pretty fucking familiar. And then they showed her name, and it was the same name as the girl I worked with, but it's spelled different, because, we have a schedule posted by the time clock, and it has everybody's name, and, Eric's working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday off, and Joe's working these days, and this chick's working these days. So I looked at her schedule, her name on the schedule, and not spelled different than what it was on Maury. But of course, I didn't mention this to anybody because, like I said, the name was spelled different, so I figured it was someone else. Of course, word getting around because I guess more than one person saw that episode. But they're like, how do we bring this up to the person? How do we do this? How do we do that? So, like I said, she was a bagger. So one of the cashiers, he looks at her. He's like, "Oh, hey, I don't even fucking remember her name. My wife was here. She'd know her name. Hey, you ever been to? I don't know. I think it's New York, because that's where I guess Maury is from. His show. Oh yeah, I've been there before, just once visiting. Didn't say a word. Didn't say nothing. And then I think another person says, "Oh, I heard you were in New York. Do you have any ideas of places to go visit?" Blah, blah, blah. She didn't really say anything. She says, "Oh, I was there once, but it was only for a couple days. And I was there on a business trip or something like that." So then the guy who worked the produce department just flat out asked her, he said, "So I heard you were on Maury Povich trying to figure out who your baby's daddy was." If you knew the guy in the produce department, you would just smile and be like, "Yep, that's him." And her excuse was, well, she admitted it. She says, "Yeah, I was on Maury Povich, for that episode." And her excuse was, "I didn't think anybody would see that because I didn't think, you guys got that channel or that channel was out here." Maury Povich is nationally syndicated. So pretty much anyone in the United States watches Maury Povich or can get a channel that Maury Povich is on. And in a long story short, baby's daddy ended up being her second cousin. Yeah, that's this girl. Ugh. I don't even know I'm being a parent. Just the stupidest things get me off on these fucking tangents. I start off talking about horror movies, and I get going talking about Maury Povich and Who's Your Baby's Daddy, and I end up working with him. A lot of fucking weirdos and crazy people out there. Like this guy. Yeah, fuck it, I'll talk about him. This guy I knew on YouTube. I used to be friends with him. Jay, if you're still watching, you know who I'm talking about, the mama's boy. Oh, I got started on YouTube, and through a mutual friend, a mutual YouTuber, I got added to this group, like this chat group. Twitter has them, Facebook has them. You can add whoever you want into this group. And, hold on. I was added to this group, and he was like the creator of the group. Seemed like a cool guy. He talked movies. He loved kung fu movies, this and that. Loved horror movies. Got along great. Then he turned into a fucking weirdo. He got obsessed with people watching his videos, making sure they commented, and if he ever got something negative on his YouTube channel, Like, some people can't handle trolling, but it's social media. If you're on YouTube, like I've been trolled endlessly for my Corey Feldman videos. I personally love the trolling because it's a creative way to respond. He couldn't handle it, so he would get upset, and we would say, you know what, just ignore the trolls, this or that, blah blah blah, and he would for the most part. But this weirdo was the type of guy that if he got a thumbs down, he would lose sleep. He would lose sleep if he got thumbs down on a YouTube video. He would send us voice messages talking about how he'd want to jump in front of a fucking train because people didn't like his latest Let's Play video. So I'll go into it more, but he's obsessed about what people think of him through YouTube. Now, here's the thing. He's this guy. He's 42 years old. And doesn't have a job. Lives at home with mom. He can't keep a job for more than a day or so. So his only outlet to, I guess, the real world is through YouTube. So he obsesses over this. And, he'd always do this. I'm going to leave YouTube. I'm going to leave social media. Whatever. And I'd wish him well. And then, of course, he'd come back. I think he was just reaching for attention. And then it got to the point where, he'd leave, come back, leave, come back. It got to the point where I got tired of it. And then he started posting some weird shit in our group chats. Like, what are they called? AMSR videos? Where you have someone pretending to be your girlfriend and talking to you and whispering gently in your ear and weird fucking shit like that. And then he got obsessed with young kids breakdancing, and he'd always share those videos. He just became a fucking weirdo. So a lot of people left the group. And out of the blue, he contacted me. And he's like, oh, hey, just checking up on you, seeing how, you were, blah, blah, blah. I miss our chats. Would you like to come back to the group? No, Falagar, I don't want to come back to your group. Whatever. Because of all the drama. I don't need all that shit in my life. Just telling them stuff I don't care about. Just to end the conversation. So he says, okay, fine. And then I know he messages my wife because he sends me friend requests on other. He creates multiple Facebook profiles, and he's messaged me or he's friend requested me on them. And I deny those friend requests because I just don't want his fucking drama in my life. So he messages my wife. And she was part of the group for a while, and she left because he just got fucking weird. Like, everybody wanted to, everybody left. He's like, oh, I think Eric blocked me. No, I didn't block you. I just denied your friend request. And red flag was set up because, he messaged my wife. And I would think it was just harmless. If it wasn't for the fact that he was upset, he gets obsessed over every single female he talks to in a YouTube group. Facebook group, fuck. He got obsessed over this one girl who lives in Bulgaria. And, she has a job. She doesn't sit in front of the computer for 24 hours a day like this guy did. And he would chat with her at night, and when she wouldn't be able to chat with him, he'd get depressed, and he'd message us, and this and that, and he would cry. He would cry in these messages, and I'm just like, this is, bona fide stalking. Obsession. Like Annie Wilkes and Paul Sheldon. This type of shit. And he does it with every female. And then, like I said, I wouldn't have cared of him messaging my wife because they were mutual friends. But then it clicked in my head that, why are you messaging my wife? You're already obsessed enough with these other females. So I let him have it. And he's like, okay, maybe we took this wrong. You know, I apologize. I shouldn't have done that. And I accept it as an apology. I think we're all cool. And then he goes back to begging me to be in this fucking Facebook group. And I think to myself, dude, after you just acted this way, why would I want to even have any contact with your dumb ass? Your crazy ass, your obsessed ass. And the thing is, I know he's obsessed because I know he was watching me on YouTube. And not just watching my videos, but watching what I was saying in my comments. He would send me messages and ask me why I wouldn't respond or why I haven't responded to his comment on a fucking, I don't know, I did a John Carpenter unboxing video. And he commented on it and I hadn't responded yet because those stupid fucking Corey Feldman videos I did, I get comments on those left and right. So I answered all those at once. And then he said, Eric, I commented on your John Carpenter video. Oh, okay, I know, Falagar. Good. I haven't responded yet. Really? Well, you responded to this person at 7:42, and then I commented at 7:46, and then you responded to the guy who commented at 8:43. So this fucker is watching my YouTube channel, trying to he's figuring out timestamps when I'm commenting or responding to these comments. And that's fucking creepy. I have never had somebody be that obsessed. First off, I just figured he was fucking weird. But I never had someone that obsessed with what I'm doing so much that you're pretty much stalking me, wanting to know what I'm doing. It's just fucking weird, man. So once again, I went off on him. I haven't heard from him since. I let him know that he gave a shout out to one of my mutual female friends. I said, he gave a shout out to her, and then I messaged him and I said, she knows how you are, dude. She knows how obsessed you get with these females. She knows about you watching these young kids break dance, and you're also watching her son on his YouTube channel. I believe her son is under 13. Yeah, and then I haven't heard from him since because he is such a coward when it comes to confrontation. I'm going to walk and get another beer. I don't know how much longer I'm going to talk. I'm talking for like an hour. What time is it? It is 10:16, so I'll probably have one more beer, and I'll probably be done, because I don't know what else to fucking talk about. What have I talked about? Remakes, Rob Zombie, weird YouTubers, people complaining, shit. I don't know what else to talk about. I might just end this after an hour. Like I said, it's good to not be fucking sick anymore. I had fucking 24-hour flu, coming up. Yeah, it was like a couple days. Had to leave work early. Then stayed home one day. Wife had the flu and bronchitis. Excuse me. Daughter getting over bronchitis. So this was a fun fucking household. Plus dealing with that fucking Looney Tune. Now I gotta read something for my daughter. I guess her school is doing this everybody reads thing. And everybody in this elementary school is reading the same, is reading the same book. And I'm not getting comments, so I don't know if people are commenting. My phone is fucking retarded. So I'm going to go, and I'm messing with the computer. But she has to read this book, and it's called The Almighty Ivan, or some shit like that. And it's about this gorilla living in he lives in a habitat, this and that. And let's see here. Fuck my computer. And she's in kindergarten, and this is the saddest fucking story I have ever had to read. For a kindergartner. It's about Ivan, and he's this big silverback gorilla, and he's living in this habitat in this wannabe zoo in a mall. And his best friend is this elephant, and internet. Hold on. Best friend is this elephant, and she dies, of course, and she's thrown in the back of this dump truck. And this is something that you have that you want your kid, like she's in kindergarten. You're having this kindergartner read. Really, why the fuck would a kindergartner want to enjoy a story about a gorilla who's very unhappy in this habitat that it's in? And we just got to the part where, like I said, the the poor elephant, who's been suffering for like the last 3 or 4 fucking chapters, finally dies, and then she's thrown in the back of a fucking dump truck. But this is something cool. Oh shit! Well, there we go. Yep. See, I'm not getting comments, but it's now I got all these comments on my computer, so I'm gonna read through these, and I'm gonna see if I can respond to anything, because anything you guys have said since my last failure, my upload or whatever, I'm not getting comments. So I'm going to read. It looks like, Horror Gamer's there. Nobby's finally here. Nobby's here. Don't know what Nobby's saying, so I'm going to see. So I'm going to start up. Here we go. I'm going to scroll back up. Let's see here. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. Texas Chainsaw. Nobby. Sherry Moon Zombie. Fappity. Very fappity. Can't act worth her shit, but she's very fappity. Let's see here. Power Rangers are all gay anyway. They should have been called turd burglars. Well, it wouldn't have been bad, Nobby, if the females were gay. Because, like I said, the Pink Ranger was hot. The replacement Pink Ranger was hot, so that was okay. Twitter drama. Anytime people want to complain about things, that just seems stupid. I go home at night and watch Revenge of the Nerds. It helps me. Revenge of the Nerds is a fucking fantastic movie. You can't have Revenge of the Nerds. There's no way Revenge of the Nerds. Yes, Nabi, you finally figured out who I was talking about. Revenge of the Nerds. You could not have a Revenge of the Nerds movie in 2018. It's just like you wouldn't be able to have American Pie, because Revenge of the Nerds, it's so someone would fucking complain about the nerds and their secret cameras watching all the women undressing and this and that in their dorm rooms, the whole panty raid thing, when the nerd goes down on the blonde chick and she thinks it's her boyfriend and ends up being fucking Gilbert. No, it is Gilbert. No, not Gilbert. Lewis. The dark haired one. Don't fucking matter. There's no way you'd be able to have that nowadays. And then you won't be able to have American Pie, because I guarantee you some fucking asshole would say that you can't have that because Jim, I think that's his name, the pie fucker. There's no way you could have that because he is illegally watching, fuck is her name, Shannon Elizabeth get naked in his room. Probably couldn't have fucking Porky's and any of that. I've actually never seen Porky's. All I know is there's the scene where they're watching the girls in the shower, but there's no fucking way that that movie would be able to be made nowadays. Um, and that's why we have the movies we have nowadays. That's why we have nothing but Medea movies and Ghostbusters remakes. American Pie went all progressive with the wedding one, though. The gay club and shit. And then it moved to Canada and it's all libtarded. I stopped enjoying the American Pie movies after the second one. Um, American Pie 1 was fine. Part 1 was fine. Shannon Elizabeth boobies. And not an overabundance of sex jokes. Second one was okay, but Stifler is one of them retarded characters that's nothing but sex jokes, and I just wanted to punch myself in the face. I remember not wanting to watch the third one, the wedding one, but we were at a friend's house of my wife's, and we were bored, and I wanted to leave, and we had only been there for like 10 minutes, and my wife was like, well, we're not going to leave yet. So, what happened? Well, they're like, oh, well, we'll put an American Wedding. And I wanted to put a gun in my mouth and pull the trigger. I know all the gay stuff. It was horrible. The gay, did they go to a gay nightclub or something? Or, no, the wedding planner was gay. And it's just too many forced gay jokes. I don't mind a gay joke every now and then, but when that's all it is, it's like, Scary Movie. The dance-off with Stifler. That's right. It's like Scary Movie. The first one with the Wayans brothers. I don't mind a penis joke every now and then. You can ask Nobby. We make these type of jokes all the time. But man, if it's 90 minutes of just penises being stuck in their ears and fingers in the asses, I'm just like, enough's enough. But you got these, retarded kids that, that was another thing. I say retarded. Can't say that anymore. And I'm not picking on someone with mental disabilities. I'm just saying retarded, just meaning stupid. That's just how some people talk. And that brings up, me being trolled again. Someone was mad. Oh God, one of my 2 Corey Feldman videos. It's always the fucking Corey Feldman videos that I get trolled on. And someone was upset that I was saying what Corey was doing was retarded. Now, I don't think I was calling Corey retarded. I was just saying what he was doing was retarded. And they asked me, could you please not use the R word? And before I was able to say, apologize or whatever, he went on and basically, he finished the video. So he's obviously, one of the ones that loves Corey and, wishes he could suck him off. He went on to say, this was great. He went on to say, before I could apologize for using the R word, or not necessarily apologize, but just explain why I say retarded all the time. He went on to say how I'm a big, dumb, fat redneck. How my mom should have swallowed me instead of getting knocked up. And I don't belong in this country because I give this country a bad name. So I'm like, wait a minute. You're mad that I used the word retarded and you want me to apologize or not use the word retarded so much. Yet you said all of that stuff. And then I check out this guy's profile. And I don't know if he really is, mentally retarded or what have you. But I looked at his picture and he looks like one of those people that have some type of disability where they're probably my age, but they look like they're 15. And I'm like, you know what? I'm arguing with probably some mentally retarded person, but the gloves are off when you go at me like that. So I had this, there you can go, I don't know which Corey Feldman video it is, but there's this long diatribe between me and him just going back and forth and back and forth. And it's great because I got so many likes on my comments and so many dislikes on his comments, and I'll argue with anybody. I don't give a shit. I'm not like Nobby, who has no friends and enjoys cat piss, but I don't care if people like me. I mean, I will argue with anybody, It doesn't matter to me. Yeah, I had to throw that in there, Nobby. It doesn't matter to me if you do like me. I would like people to like my videos. I would like people to like me as this, lovable asshole that I am. But you don't have to like me. And I will fight you tooth and nail. I don't care if you have a disability, if you come at me. Because then, like I said, gloves are off. I don't care, like I said, if this kid was retarded or not. You cross that line, I'll cross that line. I'll jump over that line. I think I've hung out with, like Nobby said, I think I've hung out with him too much. We're kind of becoming the same person, and it's nice because the nice guy's disappearing, and I'm enjoying the person I'm becoming. Not so much the asshole part, but the part that I just don't care anymore. You know, if these people want to hate me, that's fine. I find some of this stuff funny. Yes, and I find a racist joke funny. Find a gay joke funny. If you don't, you're lying. Okay, because some of this shit is funny. Some of the stuff that I've seen over the past few days of Stephen Hawking's being dead have been hilarious. Okay, there is one. What was it? Nobby loves being an asshole. It's fun. You don't really care. I mean, it's easier because you have no friends, but still. What was it? The funniest Stephen Hawking's one. I think Nobby sent it to me. Was R.I.P. Stephen Hawking's, and it was a broken chair or something like that. But someone sent it. Someone sent me one where it said R.I.P. Stephen Hawking, and it was a picture of a speaking spell. That was fucking funny. I'm sorry. I don't care that the guy's dead. That was funny. You gotta laugh at some of these stuff, and if you don't laugh at it, you're lying. Or there was one where, what was it? Someone sent a picture of Stephen Hawking's, and he's like this, and everyone is sad that Stephen is amazed at how smart Stephen Hawking's was. I'm just paraphrasing this. Everyone was amazed at how smart Stephen Hawking's was. I'm more amazed that he was able to cheat on his wife with the body of a Pez dispenser that was made out of loose foreskin. That's fucking funny. Offensive jokes are funny, people. Quit being such a bunch of pussies, okay? It's just so much easier. You'll enjoy life more if you're not so fucking uptight, alright? Like British humor. I'm starting to like British humor more because they really don't care. I think some of the I rewatched Faulty Towers. Okay? Faulty Towers was funny, and the funniest jokes in Faulty Towers is when they're making fun of the immigrant bellhop, or when John Cleese is doing a goose-stepping Nazi impression. That stuff is funny, okay? My God, everybody is so fucking butthurt on everything nowadays. That is pathetic. Nobody can enjoy anything. It's like participation trophies nowadays. Don't give your kid a Don't give your kid a participation trophy. It doesn't motivate them to be any better. Oh, Jimmy, I'm sorry you sucked at gym class today, but you still get a trophy for helping. No, because why would Jimmy want to give a shit anymore? No, sorry, Jimmy, you sucked. You came in last place. Do something about it. Get better. Push yourself. Pitiful. We're so worried about our kids getting upset and shooting up fucking schools and, disciplining them. Telling them that, okay, sorry, you lost. Deal with it. People lose. Use that as motivation to do better. Or else you'll be like Nobby and have no friends. Or like Falagar, and you won't leave your room. Anyways, I've been talking for an hour and 15 minutes. I've been rambling for an hour and 14 minutes. I'm going to take off. I gotta piss. I'm almost done with my fourth beer. The only one talking is Nobby. You have no friends. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. All the people that have participated. Jay Wilkins, Jennifer, Horror Gamer, Jay, you showed up for a couple seconds. Um, like and subscribe, all that jazz. I don't know how I'm going to end this. So I'm going to say it's easier being an asshole. Nobby's right. Sherry Moon Zombie. Fappity. Later.